I guess I don't know how big this ever got, but I think one of the biggest. I mean, there's Coast to Coast album, but I just remember the "Love Yourself" cover that you and Devon Terrell did on YouTube, where
Yeah.
you guys are like, "We don't even play guitars," and throw them to the side, and then
Yeah.
I would share that with like everybody when that came out because I found it because of the Mike Stud tour. But
Yeah. You're asking how big that got?
yeah,
Yeah, I wish that I would have uploaded it to Spotify and all that back in the day as a cover because it would probably have 100 million streams.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the YouTube video might be at like 20 million or something like that. People still know all the words. I still perform it to this day. And yeah, so there was so many things that gave us the success. And I knew, once again, that one was going to be the best one because we did those 12 remixes leading up to the album. And I was like, we're dropping this one last because it's going to be going viral the day that our album comes out. And so everybody's going to listen to that and then they're going to go buy the album. And that's exactly what happened. And we sold 12,000 copies first week of our album, which, you know, back then it was like people were actually buying music. It wasn't streaming yet. Spotify was just kind of being introduced. And so like, yeah, we were able to make $120,000 in a week off of, you know, a viral video. Yeah. And so, yeah, all those things, just like the nerd rap, you know, doing features with all these upcoming rappers along the way, doing touring with Mike Stud and Hobson and Tech Nine, and every little thing just continued to add to the success and the fan base. And then being able to kind of like, okay, you guys really like Tech Nine, but here's how I'm different. You guys really like Mike Stud, but here's how I'm different. So it's like I was able to attach myself to a lot of people and I guess steal fans, right? But also them to become diehard fans of me because of who I was and what my music was like.
As far as you yourself learning that, all the management stuff that you're talking about, like, you know, sharing with people, how did you find all that on your, like, starting out?
The hard way. Really just like being a kid and like not knowing anything, you know, like I guess I professionally started doing music in 2012, where it was like, okay, my album's on iTunes, I'm doing shows, I'm doing touring. And it was just like, I always was trying to think of, okay, well, how can I make money and how can I do this? And how do shows work and how do blogs work and how does marketing work and whatever. So it was just constant trial and error with my own stuff. And I got burned a lot. I lost a lot of money doing a lot of things. And I think that's what makes it all beautiful, is to come full circle and I can help all my artists make sure they don't lose money and they don't do the stupid things that I did. And I think that's what gives me the value that I have today, is like, you could open up Facebook and see a marketing video from Adam Ivy or Smart Rapper or any of these people, and not to discredit any of them, but like, when you see me, it's somebody that you did it, like actually did it as an artist, to where anybody else that's giving you advice, like they've never been, they didn't make it, and that's why they're doing what they're doing. It's like, nah, I made it, I did it, and now I'm able to tell you from my experiences, my failures and my victories, the right and wrong things to do. So yeah, I think there's definitely beauty in that, and that even goes into life. It's like, you take a lot of L's in life, you lose sometimes, but it's either you dwell on it.
You win and you learn.
Yeah, you learn. You can dwell on that loss, or you could learn from it, and then the next time you win. So that's really it on that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important. Like, I had to remind myself of that because I felt like before I started the 75, I was at like this mountaintop of like self-reflection. I was like evaluating myself really well. And then I felt like I kind of went down a peak and was like, you know, maybe the next mountain's higher. You know, maybe you had to come down to the bottom to go up to the next peak. And it's hard to evaluate that after a situation, but
yeah,
it's important to be able to do that too.
It definitely is, man. I've definitely had the peaks and valleys, and you know, it's never ending. It's even right now, I'm like, I think all the time, I'm like, you know, I'm 32 years old and people are calling me like an OG. And it's like, I got so much more time. And it's like, and then too, at the same time, it's like, I already completed the goal. So everything that I'm doing now is like everything I do now is not something I ever thought I would do. I never thought I'd be a manager. I never thought I would have a company like Indie Amplify. I never thought that I would own multiple properties. Like, those weren't in my career plan. It was just to be a rapper. And then, like I said, once I did it, it was like, but what else? So yeah. And then with that, yeah, all the L's and the lesson for sure.
Yeah. As far as one thing I definitely want to make sure we touch on is your Tough Love clothing brand, because I think it's awesome. Just how you rolled that out and, really pushed the message. I've kind of tried to do something a little bit similar, but not at all at the same time, where when I interview artists, a lot of times I'll ask about lyrics they have in a song. Like this one specifically says, "I can't change for you." And then I took like coins with it. So it's all like really bad artwork because I'm not an artist, but then it like ties the lyrics together.
Got you. And that's one of your joints?
Yeah. So it's music with a message. So it's like I reach out to artists, ask them about their lyrics, if I can put them on a shirt, and then like combine the.
That's super dope. That's super fire. Yeah, no, Tough Love is like the same thing. And before I had Tough Love, I just made shirts like that every now and then. Like, I think one of my best selling shirts ever just said, "Make sure you're happy in real life, not just on the internet." And I feel like that's one of the truest things in today's age. It's like, yo, everybody's portraying that life is so dope and it's this and it's that. And it's like, but they're not really showing the other things. And then, some of the happiest people I know are the ones that don't even have an Instagram, So Tough Love just kind of came from that, where it's like if I can walk by somebody and they can see a message and they can brighten their day. I realized that every time I wore that "Make Sure You're Happy in Real Life" shirt, people would be like, "I love that shirt. That just made my day." They didn't have to know who made it. They didn't have to know who Futuristic was. They didn't have to know nothing about nothing. It could be an 80-year-old woman, and sometimes it was. And it's like, yo, that's why Tough Love started. And even if it's not Tough Love, just any merch I've done over the last, like you said, so like 2018 has been along those lines.
Did you ever have on your journey struggles with like the balance of social media too? Because I know that personally that's been something difficult for me, where it's like I feel like for what I do I need to be on there, but also at the same time I like hate the aspect of being on my phone.
Yeah, if I wasn't an artist, I probably wouldn't even have social media, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things. It's such a necessary evil in this space, and it's everything, right? So what I've tried to do in more recent years is like, don't get obsessed with the numbers. I think that's something that a lot of people do, is like they base who they are as a human being off how many likes they're getting and how many comments they're getting. And in an artist's defense, I mean, it kind of does define who you are, right? Like if your content is underperforming, you're underperforming. You're not growing. So it feels like such an ego blow and such a hit. And I understand why artists get depressed. So yeah, I've definitely dealt with that, where it's like you got to be obsessed with the numbers and you got to be obsessed with this and that, and you got to follow people to kind of like eavesdrop on them and know when stuff's popping up. Like, in all honesty, most of the looks that I got, like my collab with NF, for example, my biggest song, 60 million streams, came from a tweet, me tweeting him. And the only reason why I tweeted him, and I'll be 100% honest, I didn't know his music. I didn't know who he was. Never heard of him. But me and him were always on the top chart. So I would just see him on the iTunes charts, and then his fans would tweet me, "You guys should work. You should do a song with NF," whatever. So finally one day I'm like, okay, let me send this dude a song. And ignore that. Let me send this dude a song. And it came through social media. So if his fans wouldn't have been on social media, if I wouldn't have been on social media, that wouldn't have happened. Even like other features, other tours, even how I get a lot of business now. Like I rent out vans to artists. I follow every time I see a new artist that I think is dope, that I think would know who I am, I follow them, because if they go on tour, I can DM them and be like, "Hey, you need a van?" And that's how I've gotten all my business in the van company. Features, everything. It works like that. So it is a necessary evil, but I try to micro focus my time to where, like, if I'm with my kids, I'm not on my phone. If I'm with my wife, if I go out to dinner, I'm not on my phone. Like if I go on a vacation, it's like, cool, check your phone, like do your morning routine, then check your phone, then leave it there, and then go have fun. I don't even take my phone with me when I'm on vacation and like going to do something, right? Leave that as long as my wife has her phone. If somebody really needs to get in contact, they can call her. I leave mine there. So yeah, but it's draining. And I go through phases where I unfollow everybody because I'm like, oh, this is draining my energy. Yeah. And then I'm like, damn, I got to follow everybody back because I need to know. I need to know
what's going on.
Yeah.
One thing I love about it, so that's like the only way I connect with artists really is just reaching out, making content with their music and like sharing it and helping to push their stuff. I like when I'm having a bad day, my go-to thing now is for an hour, I'll just go on TikTok, Instagram, find artist videos and just send them like some positive comments. And then that like boosts me back up to where I'm like, I can go back throughout the day and feel good about myself.
That's super dope. Yeah, it's just showing people love.
Yeah, but if I'm just going through my own social media, that's draining, and I can't do that anymore. I've had